We unfortunately have to announce 2 additional deaths due to COVID-19. Both are in residents of Northwood. And like the Premier, I want to give my condolences and deep sympathies to the families who have lost loved ones. It is tragic, and we just have to move forward. We now have a total of 12 Nova Scotians who have died as a result of COVID. And I think we all need to pause and just, this is why we're doing what we're doing, and we're having the restrictive measures. And please use this as a signal to understand and remember and remind yourself of how serious COVID is and the or can be, and why we all have to continue to do what we're asking you to do, what you've been ordered to do under the public health order to protect each other. We now have a total. We have 35 new cases of COVID today, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 772. We currently have 10 individuals in hospital. 3 of those are in the ICU. We have now 330 people that have recovered from their infection, and we can consider them to be resolved. We have tested 22,993 Nova Scotians who have had negative test results. And we have 10 long-term care facilities and unlicensed seniors' homes that have cases of COVID-19. In total, we have 148 residents and 65 staff. I want to come back to the testing. It's really important that we continue to test people as a key part of our strategy. We are testing more Nova Scotians per capita than any other province in the country. That's thanks to a range of people in the healthcare system, in our lab and an 811 and the assessment centers, to providing the capacity to do that. It's also thanks to Nova Scotians for recognizing the need when they for COVID testing and coming forward as appropriate. And I want to remind Nova Scotians that we have anybody, no matter whether you've traveled or not, no matter what part of the province you're in, if you have symptoms that could be COVID-19, that we want you to come forward and get tested. So if you have fever, 2 or more of fever, new or worsening cough, headache, sore throat, or runny nose, if you have 2 or more of those symptoms, if you're able to and have the online access, go to the online 811 assessment tool, and then follow the directions as you go through that tool. If you do not have the online capacity, you can call 811, and they'll then do an assessment with you through their telehealth line. And either direction, whether it's online or through the telehealth line, if you're necessary, you'll be directed to an assessment center and be tested. And we have no challenges. We have very short wait times for 811, short wait times to get directed in to be tested. As we continue to process this last weekend's unspeakable tragedy, I know many people continue to look for ways to show their support and respect to the RCMP, to other police forces and first responders, as well as to the families and loved ones of the victims. However, we are also dealing with COVID-19, so I'm renewing my call to ask Nova Scotians to please find ways to show your love, your respect, your support in a virtual manner, to do this safely, so we do not allow COVID-19 a further chance to get a foothold in our province. We know people want to and are I've seen people organizing, gathering along the roads or outside detachments. We have reports of people actually approaching police officers that would, in normal times, would be very welcome gestures of handshakes or even hugs, getting a photo together. Some people are offering bringing food to our RCMP detachment in Truro where people are working from. Unfortunately, it's terrible that I have to say this, but please we need you to not do those things. We will get a time in the future where we can have these more direct contacts, but now we ask people to respect the rules around social distancing, around staying apart from each other. We know that RCMP, other police, they're working long hours. They are being provided necessary food and water, etc. While we appreciate those gestures, at this time we ask people to not do that. There are other ways that we can all show our solidarity and our caring. The province has set up an online book of condolences. I would encourage people to go there, novascotia.ca/condolences. The RCMP has also set up a memoriam website for Constable Heidi Stevenson. So I would encourage people to, if they're so inclined, to go to the RCMP website and look for that. We know that in this province and across the country that people are rallying around the victims of this horrendous event. I'm sure that they feel the love and support, and I would ask people to continue to do that in virtual ways, ways that can all keep us safe.